Welcome back to the EU LCS Arena. Just a reminder that that dragon means the summer finals are just around the corner. If you're enjoying this series between Fnatic and G2, head to lolesports.com for details on how you can join us as they fight along the road to Worlds. Of course, two teams guaranteed to make their way to playoffs, but focusing back in on the series at hand. Yeah, bringing it back.
Bringing it back in.
Looking at game one, we had to give a player of the game. Who better to get it than the man who BM'd in the face of adversity?
Not the resets, not the outplays.
No, I think when you play that well and you're not afraid to brag about it, that's inspiring. Yeah.
No, it's been definitely deserved player of the game right there. Really nice Tristana play, but it was a team effort.
Very true.
Honorable mention and shout out to Mithy for landing a beautiful on-point double stun, which is really hard, by the way, because the new teleport is a second longer and the animation hasn't changed. They just added like another second of sound to it, which means if you're used to like the old teleport animation, you miss every single TP predict. And Mithy
adapting on the fly.
Adapt on it, and he hit 2 people, which is super hard.
Excellent. Of course, guys, if you are just joining us and you missed out on game one, Werlib did play on the starting lineup for Fnatic, but has been subbed out for Kikis as we move into game two. So we talked about this a little bit before we left last time, but this is pretty big for Fnatic. This could be a massive, well, a pretty large shift in the way that they play the game, and I think Kikis is definitively at this point a step up from Werlib in terms of team coordination.
Yeah. Kikis. No. Just trying to slide a reference in there, but I'm just going to hold it for a while.
Oh, I know. Okay. All right.
There's too many inside jokes here.
Yeah.
He's back in. I think it's actually good for Fnatic that they put him in because the way if they draft similar compositions, they need somebody that's on point and very proactive with the teleports. Not only, like, and this is like bragging on the world, you know, but the 2 phases that stood out in the last games both involved a teleport that was suboptimal and also delayed. Like, it was a reactive teleport. It felt like, should I TP? Yes, TP go. And that's what happened a lot in like Season 3 and even Season 4 when teams are really adopting to like the TP strategies. But right now, the great top laners, especially if you look over in LCK, they'll just TP and then they'll ask themselves, should I finish it? Which gives you way quicker paced TPs on average. Yes, sometimes you may end up wasting it and have to reset it, you know, for 4 minutes or something. But if you then go in, you know, you save like 3 seconds of decision making, which is super much.
Yeah, a ton when we look at how much that 3 seconds can make a difference in a team fight. Now, looking at Werlib, of course, that TP issue was present yesterday as well. So, I mean, I think good for him that if he has a weakness, it's one that is so clearly identifiable, gives him a clear path to improve, something to work on. But definitely not going to be the right option for Fnatic on the starting lineup, at least for now. Let's see other players getting ready, getting set up.
And we're having weird game noises in our headset, apparently.
This is good.
Great.
It's good.
This is so confusing here.
They're getting us ready for the game.
Yep.
By playing game noise in our ears.
But yeah, both teams are all present in the lobby right now. They're just doing some final settings for Kiki's, double checking that everything is in order. We're both in the lobby already, so we're ready to go. We're just waiting to jump into this game. Honestly, G2 likely to take it 2-0.
Yeah.
But Fnatic can put up a fight, you know, just like the roster swap here. It's the last match of the season. For them, if they win, if they lose, yet again, guys, there will be a tiebreaker between Fnatic and H2K. That will be a best of 1 played over like later today after PGL, because the teams will need about a half an hour to prepare and prep strategies.
Yep.
We'll play it in the studio for people over here, and that should also be a great game, unless Fnatic tie up the series here.
Absolutely. We're not there yet. Have to see. Fnatic still with a chance to bring this one back. Now on the blue side, the Tom Kench ban remaining the same for G2. Nidalee, seemingly a staple ban on red side. Malzahar and Hecarim, just rising power picks in the current meta.
Yup, super standard picks almost. And Hecarim was a bit of a surprise because when he initially came out in Europe, he was very binary. Either did super well or super poorly, and it came in nature a bit of the build, because if people went, you know, Sinner Hulk into Triforce, and then you need to snowball to get that Triforce early because it's such an expensive buy. But if you look over to what they do in LPL, and Devicio pointed out earlier on the desk as well, good Hecarim players will rush the Triforces that sit on the components of the jungle item and then get the Sinner Hulk later on to really accelerate, you know, that power spike.
Yeah, but aren't going to see the Hecarim this time around. Karma and Trundle similarly taken off the table. Looking very similar to our last pick and ban. Keep in mind, Kog'Maw is up and available if anyone wants to opt for that. Fnatic locking in the Shen here, and G2 taking their sweet time on this second rotation.
Yeah, Shen is one of those champions that always seemingly makes it through pick and bans, but has such a large impact on the game, and also pressure, because when you face champions like Twisted Fate and Shen, there is just invisible pressure that goes along with them. The same like as if you're playing against an Evelyn on a professional level, especially on the stage. In scrims, everybody's always on top of like whatever they're doing. You know, they know exactly when to play aggressive, exactly when to play passive. But in stage environments, you're so afraid to make a play because you don't want to get it turned around by Shen ulti. And it actually plays a bit of a mental aspect as well, actually making the pick much more valuable on stage.
Really interesting to see if G2 are going to be able to adapt to this pick. Of course, it's something that they played last game. Now, Fnatic, they're taking their time on their second rotation, but G2 already picking up that Sivir and the Gragas.
Yep.
Gragas, such a powerhouse pick in the hands of Trick. This man has made so many great aggressive engage plays and has carried his team on multiple occasions. Good to see him pick it up one more time.
Yeah, big fan of Gragas in general because I just love the E-Flash engage. Hopefully, though, we see the E-Flash R combo and then hit them while they're flying past you, as opposed to E-Flash auto combo where then they flash out of your cask. But hopefully Trick is good enough to make the right call in those flash engages. We saw the hover over Rumble. For people that haven't seen it, Spirit considered Rumble a good pick into Gragas because you can't really get locked out immediately and just have a lot of damage. You can challenge him, and it has worked for him in the past.
Absolutely. But looking on the opposite side for Fnatic, we do now have the Braum coming in as well as the Kog'Maw. They hovered the Lulu for a moment. Kind of got my hopes up there. But the Kog'Maw, a pick that was very powerful yesterday in the hands of Reckless, of course. They did have it backed up by that Tahm Kench. A little bit of a different story with the Shen and the Braum, but still lots of pieces of protection here. Lots of strong components for the team.
Protect the Kog'Maw composition is what Fnatic is building right now. You can already see it. You know, they were hovering a Lulu too. Like, they want to just make this Kog'Maw a beast wherever he goes. But then I like the Bard as a reply from G2. And they were thinking themselves, like, do we go for like super hard engage to lock out the Kog'Maw? You know, maybe like a Rammus rolling in or a Malphite. The only counter is if the Kog'Maw ever flashes that engage, he will win the fight immediately. Instead, I think it can be a wise choice to go for the Gangplank ultimate to just slow him down and then dogpile on him and you gotta take him down. But he has to be the primary focus. And it's a bit of a catch-22 because if you run straight at him, he'll kill you. But if you ignore him long enough, he'll also kill you. So you have to be really subtle and precise in your engagement windows on that Kog'Maw.
I really like what G2 are doing on the opposite side, though. As you said, Cannon Barrage to zone him out, Bard to lock him down. Kog'Maw, of course, very reliant on having that front line, but that 2.5 second pseudo-zonias you get from the Tempered Fate can count against you if it gives the opportunity for Gangplank, for Gragas, for these aggressive champions to set up right in melee range as soon as you pop out.
And so much mobility too. Kog'Maw already has a hard time kiting because his attack speed goes beyond what you can stutter step with. Having Sivir mobility of champions charging at you is going to be rough here, but that's why Fnatic is just going to pack more of a punch, not fully commit to the protected Kog'Maw on here, and look to round out their composition with the Rumble and the Vladimir, which is just a wealth of AoE damage here. So when G2 kind of conga line in, they need to be careful because if Spirit throws out the red carpet, and if everyone throws some more red on it, might get bloody here for G2.
I think really going to be interesting to see how exactly these team fights are executed. Now, we've talked about in the past how risky it is to run the Kog'Maw with so much of that being magic damage, but the nice thing about having that Wits End build first is you shred a decent amount of that MR, making it that much easier for the Vladimir here or the Rumble to deal their full damage in those team fight scenarios.
Yeah, now Perkz needs to find something I think that ideally plays well on side lanes. That's what I was thinking initially, because I think you can neutralize Fnatic's comp by going full 1-3-1. As long as you can run a TP, because Vladimir is a good side laner, but Vladimir will never have TP obviously, and then you always have TP advantage. But they go for the Zillion here, interesting.
A lot of opportunities to reset the fight on the side of G2. They've got the Bard, they've got the Gragas, the Zillion, these revive passives, these disengage opportunities, but they're putting a lot of pressure on themselves in terms of execution.
Yeah, that's a hard counter, you know. If you ever get a Tempered Fate on the Kog'Maw, the game's over, because Zillion will just double bomb, insta-stun him, and everybody around him. So that is one thing Reckless will have to avoid at all costs. Always flash before the ultimate connects from Mythic.
Good place to be for Mythic as well. Constantly threatening that backline pressure. But Fnatic, I mean, they've got a lot of raw power here. Both of these teams putting a lot into their own individual execution. Nothing gimmicky coming out.
Yeah, and Perkz running the teleport so he can be the side laner here. So because you always want to have the Sivir Bard Gragas trio in the center of the map. You know, 1-3-1, force that Vladimir to a side lane, and then hard force and engage somewhere else on the map with this lineup. You know, GP ulti to cut them off, Gragas flash in, Sivir speed up, and then hope that this Vladimir is so late to the party that you can just 4v5 win the fight.
I like these compositions, Greppo, I'm not going to lie. I love the Rumble Vladimir. I love these big team fights. It means there's going to be a lot of good engages. Well, hopefully for Fnatic, a lot of good engages. We'll see how G2 can respond. But of course, guys, this is it. This is the final game of the regular season. Potentially last opportunity for you to head on over to LOL Esports on Twitter and tweet at them #FNCWin or #G2Win, depending on how you're feeling about this match. Do you believe in Kog'Maw? Do you believe in Reckless and his ability to carry these fights? Or are you feeling like the Bard Zillion combo?
I mean, the Braum Kog'Maw lane is winnable. In essence, I feel like it's a skill matchup into anything, and in the sense that you have like one all-in window, especially since the L-Star is playing with Ignite. Any Braum lane can kill people if you play it hyper aggressive, but that means you gotta W in to a creep and fish for a Q, and if it connects, go all in, or you gotta W in as Braum, force Sivir to use Spell Shield, back off again. You will take a lot of damage in doing so, but then immediately right after, you go for the Q flash all in. So like Braum, if he wants to win lanes, it is super rough because it's kind of a two-step plan. Once you go in and you burn either the gap closer or the defensive shield, like a Morgana shield or a Spell Shield from Sivir, and then you immediately go in afterwards if you sync with your AD carry. You're basically telling, okay, when this guy walks up right here on the next creep, I'm going to Q flash auto him, which is 2 stacks. Your AD carry autos him immediately, 3 stacks, and then you insta-stun him and you burn him down. But teams are so afraid of doing that because if you fail, you're dead. If they TP, you're dead. If somehow they end up with 10% HP and they turn around, you're also dead. Bard stun's super annoying, so this matchup is pretty rough because you just get out-poked by the Sivir Bard.
A lot of risk. Double range versus range in a melee as we get ready for our second game in the set. Fnatic need 1 point to pull ahead of H2K in the standings. At G2, at this point, they're just playing for style, looking to shut down Fnatic, force them into that tiebreaker match.
Yep, definitely so. Let's see if we get standard lanes here. Really hoping for it. Because Sivir into Kog'Maw, sometimes it's rough because if the Kog'Maw gets a good trade-off, you just get so much damage. You know, the relatively low range from Sven can get punished by the Kog'Maw W. That used to be a way of why people used to pick Kog'Maw into her, because you can just outrange with W. For Fnatic, it's really important to play around the cadence of Bio-Arcane Barrage in lane 2. Basically, whenever you have it, you play aggressive. Whenever it's down, you peace out.
Yeah, pretty good for proccing the bomb passive as well if they ever do get that engage opportunity. Very fast stun, very easy follow-up.
Ooh, I think Fnatic swapping out of this matchup, and G2 is going for the blind predict here.
It's all mind games. It's a game of poker right now. Gonna have to see. Guessing at the hands.
Are you good at poker?
No, I'm terrible.
You would be the River King. Used to play with somebody. Call himself the River King. Which basically means he was guessing the card that's coming next, and whatever it was, like one that worked for him, he's like, yeah, I knew it was coming.
I am the River King.
I am the River King.
I'm going to guess that they're going to invade the jungle here.
Yeah, great guess here. Mithy, that's what supports have been doing right now, because the counter to this invade is waiting around the wall. So supports double check that with their skill shot, and then ward over here. They lose access to the wave early, but since they're double range, they can still play the wave as long as they want.
Yep. Keeping your eyes reckless, having to burn that Bio-Arcane Barrage.
W down. Look for Mithy and Sven to kind of walk up right here and punish once it's down. And then Mithy looking for the chain stun on the creep here.
I'm going to get it in the end.
Didn't get it.
It's okay, though. We are going to have the Australia lanes. Ooh, but Febby.
It's a good trade. Whenever Vladimir gets to push level 1, he can set up his Qs for aggressive trades because he wants to stack that Q, obviously, until he gets the bonus one, the better one. And then he can walk up. If Vladimir hits level 2 early, he can have really strong trades and continuously keep pushing the matchup. Also, since you know what side the jungler starts on, you see bot lane at top side, you know the jungler started at the other side in competitive play. Then he goes for the cheeky little Raptor ward, and he will likely spot Twig when he comes around. So that's really smart play by Fevin here.
Yeah, extra information, winning out his lane and providing a little bit more for the team. You can see Gragas on that ward right now as he clears out the camp. Yeah. He smites that buff. If he smites that buff, he'll spot the ward, but ward might just linger there for a bit longer.
Yeah, smite's still cool because he wants to save it for red buff, you know, for the sustain. But it just shows you, like, this goes back to level 1, how information kind of seeps through, like, gameplay patterns, because level 1, Perks is challenging, Fevin is challenging this wave super aggressively, you know, he's putting effort into just getting creeps down as early as he can, and then this happens. He gets the push, which means he has oppressive lane pattern, but what's the counter? Ganks. But what does he do instead? He wards over the Raptor wall in a way that he will likely find Trick. If Trick doesn't show there and cheese him, Perks is now Fevin is now laning without a ward. But he uses the information that in most games, jungler starts at the opposite side of where their bot lane is, and then he calculates the timing that the Gragas will show around, you know? So it's all these things that you can do. You can essentially read the game by seeing information that's on your screen, but not necessarily seeing the player. It's very similar to seeing jungle tops, seeing jungle camps cleared on top side, and you know he's bot side.
Excellent cerebral gameplay coming in on the side of Fnatic. But G2, they're making some mental moves of their own, swapping down to the bottom side, and they're one step ahead of the Fnatic bot lane. The and Sven going to get down some turret damage. They're not going to have enough time to take this one. But once again, we saw what they did last game when they were able to just chip out. But a lot of pressure down on the Fnatic. He's not going to get interrupted, and Kickus will make his way back to the top side.
It's one way to get a minor advantage out of pushing lane. So where Fevin took one sort of advantage from pushing his lane in the middle lane, G2 did the other thing. They push up, and instead of endlessly poking Reckless on the tower, they say, you know what? We get to base first. We get to make our first move, pick up an early call on Sven, then base and swap the map around and get some chip damage on the tower here, forcing Fnatic to react. Also, they get closer to Dragon here, but in
Start moving in, gonna get the first
here.
auto, looking for the Q. Can they lock down Sven?
Oh,
Stacks because of blows, moving in. Mithy gonna lock him up. Mithy dropping low. Is he gonna get first blood? No, Trick out of nowhere. He's gonna look to get this one. The double TP's coming in. G2 are cleaning up. Fnatic have overcommitted. The journey comes in, and Spirit gonna try to sidestep his way out of this one. Boomerang blade.
Oh, Mithy!
Trying to get the kill on Mithy. Oh, Spirit with the kill back. 2 for 1 in the end in the favor of G2.
Oh, there's so much to talk about this play. So first, let's start with the setup and what Fnatic was attempting. If we take into account that they just had their top lane, their TP to top lane though, they should have been aware that double TP wasn't answered. Their mid laner is also not running teleport. So from a setup point of view, I think this was rather opportunistic for Fnatic to attempt, because their top laner just lost teleport. Remember, he can't join this fight. Gangplank has teleport, and Zillion has teleport. But they go in, Yellowstar going for immediate flash auto attack. Doesn't run exhaust. If Yellowstar runs exhaust here, Sven is dead. But he's running exhaust again. Then Sven jukes or Spirit misses. You can leave that in the middle, and they switch to Mithy. So, bit of a misplay there. Double TP comes in. Everybody's in trouble. Mithy will end up sacrificing his life, but look at it. This is a 3v5 fight on the bottom that Fnatic can knowingly expect, because guess what's going to happen when you aggro bot side and the enemy has double teleport? They're going to teleport. So
well, this is exactly what you talked about when we were in Picks Advance, is that yes, you can make these aggressive moves with Braum, but it costs you so much, and it is such a high-risk play.
Yeah, in a vacuum, and one of the reasons you don't do it is because you never play in a vacuum. Enemy always has teleport.
Oh, Kickus, maybe not respecting the gank. Oh! Ass goes in, great to deny the dash coming out. Kickus now running for his life, but Expect is getting aggressive. He may be down a level, but no fear as they move in for the 2v1. Kickus now flashing to safety, but Spirit is on the way in. He has the equalizer, and he's looking to turn the fight. Expect, you're a little too hungry for blood there, buddy. You're gonna have to run out on that one.
Ooh, very surprising that Kickus survives it. That was a bit of a greedy flash there from Expect, triggering a barrel there, because it actually gave this way out when Spirit walked in. This is G2 trying to neutralize the back end of their play. They invested a lot of time and lost a lot of experience by making that play on the bot side, which left Kickus with a level lead into a matchup that he can dominate then. Look at the CS from Expect. He didn't pick up a single assist or kill in the bottom lane. So he's now down like 12, 10 CS here. So this was Trick trying to neutralize that, but Fnatic somehow managed to survive. That was a beautiful explosive cast though.
Yeah, I mean, great play coming in from Trick. We praised his Gragas, but Spirit moving up on the map as well. Known for making these early impact plays, limited a little bit by the Rumble pick.
But Expect is suffering. Look at him. He's being swapped away out of this matchup every single time, because G2 cannot afford to leave him solo versus the Shen. Like, they're continuously swapping this barred Sivir lane to the other side of the map, you know, trying to surprise and push some towers and chip away some damage. But Expect is slowly falling behind in farm.
A few weeks ago, well, probably 4 weeks ago now, we were talking to G2 how they were solely focused on improving their lane swaps. And right after they said that, they got over-eager on continuously swapping, trying to be one step ahead too much rather than just committing to normal lanes, and it cost them a decent amount. Do you think this is going to cost them anything right now? What are they gaining out of
look at it. In the base right now, if you can follow it, observers, the portal's going to come out, and this is why G2 have an innate edge, because Bard can do this, and Braum can't. So in every swap, you gain 2 or 3 seconds of travel time, and that's exactly what this composition is. Build it on up.
Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite Bard one trick,
yeah.
Mitch Krepo Vorspools.
Exactly. It's actually a really hard portal to cast if you don't know how to do it, because you stand in base for like 10 seconds.
Let me tell you,
cast it.
as someone who smart casts, you just mess that portal up every time.
This is only good if you keep this swap strategy and you leave deep lingering wards in lane that you can then teleport to later on. That is actually one of the benefits of this strategy. So if you play double TP, you can do that all the time.
Now moving forward, Fnatic once again trying to keep up with the rapid flurry of swaps that is G2 at this stage of the game. Now, Perkz has a level advantage, has a blue buff, but Febiven just does not care.
Let's see.
Of course, Guy. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us from EU LCS 2. Excited to hear more about that tiebreaker between Schalke and Vitality. We don't know the results yet, but we'll find them out soon enough. If you're just joining us, Fnatic and G2 are into game 2.
Yeah.
Relatively passive early game so far. And of course, congrats to Vitality for securing 7th place, whereas Schalke have now moved down to the promotion tournament.
Yeah, if you just joined us, basically all that you missed was one major play from Fnatic made on the bot side that got turned around by G2 with double teleport. G2 have been continuously swapping sides on the map with this silver bar lane, hoping to make for picks. Fnatic's looking to adapt. The game is super even here and has kind of stalled out now that there's reaction pressure from this Shen ultimate. So G2's kind of scared to make plays on the map because usually with a comp like this, you open up with GP ulti on the bottom side of the map, perhaps you follow with TP, and you look for a combo GP ulti into Bard ulti. The problem is that Fnatic have Shen ulti and a whole heap of damage hiding in Fog of War. If the Rumble suddenly sprints out, also because the supports have been swapping sides so often, there is no deep vision in enemy jungle. And because there's no deep vision right now, they can't get it either because you need deep vision on one side to then safely face check the other side. And when there's nothing available, you're so scared to face check here. So both teams playing super passive with very shallow vision.
Yeah, a lot of global pressure on both sides as well. Shen with the double globals, GP with double globals of his own, Perkz with that TP in the mid lane. So nothing is quite as simple as it seems. You think you have a man advantage, that can change very quickly. G2 continuing to pressure on the bottom side, but as Reckless gets more levels under his belt, as he gets further into the game, this match becomes a little bit easier for the Kog'Maw overall.
And it's so hard for Yellowstar and Reckless to ever go aggressive here because they always will get double TP down.
Unfortunate for them. You can see them make the early aggressive play a few minutes back, but cost them so much in the end. Now Mithy and Sven going to clear out this vision in the brush. Maybe look for an opportunity to back out here.
They kind of want to fake aggression there by clearing the wards, hoping that the second brush wasn't warded and have like a threatening zone, but they got cancelled. Trick here goes to burst down flash, but there is just a taunt reaction from Kikis. So that's actually quite interesting. They also are looking to go aggressive here, not
Mithy
respecting flash. Teleport rather.
Decent damage laid down. Neither side going to blow anything quite yet. Yellowstar going to walk his way out of that one. Spirit's already here. He's already ready to go.
Yeah, and so was Febiven. That's the main reason and the catalyst for this aggression here is that Vladimir had pushed up the wave.
Getting aggressive. Oh, ulti! It's going to hit Sven though.
Doesn't matter.
Not enough.
I mean, you know Bard has a portal. It's just... Bad play.
Yep. It's a rough life for Yellowstar. I feel you. You're hungry. You think you can lock down the Bard, but now you can lock down the Rumble. Pop goes Spirit. No, he's not going to drop. He's trying to turn this one around. Cannon Barrage comes in. Suddenly it's a much bigger fight. Tempered Fate comes in. Trick now looking to fall. They're trying to move for more. He's going to get locked up. Reckless going to grab that kill. Suddenly Mithy's all alone under the tower. Febiven is exhausted because of blows land, but Reckless, he's in no man's land himself. Kick is locked up. Mithy going to live. Reckless in trouble. Expect on the backside. One shot, one kill as Perkz picks up that one. Now moving for more, but he may have overextended his welcome. Oranges to make it K. Sven comes in for a killing spree, and they're going to keep pushing for more. Fnatic locked up, knocked out. No, Febiven going to live in the end.
What a turnaround. It all started with Spirit boldly going where no Fnatic member had gone before for the right reason, so he basically fish take a brush. But then the explosive cast moved Spirit so the double stun didn't proc from Mithy, and that actually bought enough time for him to get Equalizer out and get his ass saved by Kikis and Shen, even for a fraction of a second. And the follow-up part was actually pretty enjoyable to watch. I'm not going to narrate it because we're going to get a replay anyways. But look at it. He's face checking. Look for the Bard Q. I think he just gets moved right before it applies. Mithy sends out Q.
Oh, no,
it actually still stuns him. Okay, so they layered it.
So
looked like he got knocked
barely
out.
buying enough time though. That's a difference of a quarter of a second would Kikis would have made that TP or not.
But they didn't finish him just in time, so that was a good flash. Guaranteeing that the Shen lands here, but then Mithy plays as well. It's a good exhaust. Perkz comes in, has the revive on Mithy just in case he needs it. Good aggressive flash bomb too. Reckless drops. Barrel exposed. Expect a little bit over eager here. you could think. But still has flash to get out and actually solidifies another kill for Sven.
Oh.
And expects dead.
Well, whew. Maybe would have wanted that flash in that exchange there.
Or
replay of that one.
Shouldn't have been there. Like, look where his corpse is. Like, how do you end up dead there?
Special Forces gangplank, Prepo. He's infiltrating the ranks.
Behind enemy lines.
One pirate down.
Yup. Another map trade here. Sven taking down bot lane turret. But if you're trading turrets this late in the game, it just means that the additional dragon bonus is there for G2. Then I'm probably not going to get to the next tower. There's always GP ultimate available too.
Interesting place, of course, for both teams to be looking at Fnatic. They have picked up that first major item onto the Kog'Maw. We've seen how powerful that can make him in these fights. Sivir just now completing the Essence Reaver, a much, I would say, lesser power spike.
Yeah, but Sven is... you got some guys that are on curve, but Sven's beyond curve. You know, he's at 3-0-2 this early in the game, so... Don't expect. Ooh.
This is the expect story. Laying down
Expect
a barrel.
rushes.
No, this is not what you want. Cannon Barrage comes in. Not enough oranges in the world, my friend. And he's going to get cut down by Fnatic.
No flash.
Clean execution, Fnatic. The trademark Death Brush just keeps coming back.
Yeah, he basically got circled in lane while pushing out. I mean, we still don't know how he died, because this is him running away from Reckless and Yellowstar. The whole point is just how did he get in that position in the first place. They likely circled around and by. More fights here. Yellowstar.
Oh, fight continues. Equalizer comes in, but is it too little too late? Sven now on a rampage. Spirit bringing the Shen right to bear. Trying to buy time, but Sven is right in the middle of that Kog'Maw. Shut down for Reckless. Better than in the 1v1 with Perks. He's pushing for more. Perks does still have the ulti. It is going to back off, but it's just a bloodbath on the top side.
Yeah, massive bloodbath. If Reckless goes untouched, he will dominate these fights. 4 kills on this Kog'Maw right now. And we keep missing the setup, and it's also important because that's where the beauty of the play lies in. If somebody overextends or not.
There's just so much action, it's hard to keep up with it. Of course, you talked about Sven being on curve, being beyond curve. Reckless is beyond curve.
Yep.
Recoil foe picked up here.
All right, so this is Sven. They're moving aggressively. So he's going to fail the Q. It's really hard to make that play because Yellowstar always has shield, so he can block the double stun. And then they just overcommit onto Yellowstar, but then Shen ulti comes in, and they make this play without the teleport on either Gangplank or Zillion. So that's honestly a mistaken approach from G2 Esports. Beautiful punish here for Fnatic. Let's not forget that. Yellowstar did exactly what he had to do. He soaked the damage. He denied the double stun from from Bar Q rather, and then his job was done. He could die in peace.
In good zone with the ultimate as well, forcing Sven in that slowing zone means that there's no way he's getting away from Reckless, no way he's getting away from Kikis either.
And this is, but still G2 not playing to their win condition. When you have a global and 2 teleports, that's what you do. When you go aggressive, you layer that. If you are Mythy, it's incredibly complex to play Bard into Braum, but you should always look for double ulti. You need to catch both of them, and then stun the Kog'Maw from his end, so the Braum shield can never destroy the projectile. If the Bard Q second part hits a Braum shield, it'll still stun both parties. It's only if the projectile gets destroyed before you get the full stun effect.
Ah, yes, the wonderful, wonderful world of very specific Bard. I'm not trying to fault you. I'm saying like this is the thing that like never flash when you've been tagged by the first part of Bard Q. You learned that one the hard way.
Yep. Is that a nice bug, Rito? You have to explain him? No, not a bug. You just got played, fool.
It's just an insane ability.
Beautiful ability. Beautiful champion. Look at that. From the hip. He destroys the swords from the hip. He's face checking from the hip too.
He gets destroyed himself. Ooh, stun gonna come through, but the magical journey still takes him to safety in the end. Yellowstar beaten down on the poor, helpless, whatever Bard is. Thing.
Ethereal creature. I don't know. Love these cookies though. It's hot cocoa. Bard could do with some more cardio. That's why his entire kit is revolved around him speeding up. Gotta shed those pounds, you know? When even the game is incentivizing you to run more, you know you may have drank a few too many hot cocos.
I like the Gragas take on it, the exact opposite take. He has to run, he's got a lot of mobility, but he's not.
Might as well be drunk when you do it.
Is that the Crepo gym life secret?
You want me to gank your lane? Oh, better drink up before I go in.
we'll focus back briefly. It's still calm. The gold leads are still even. The kills have been traded back and forth. Really the only boon that G2 have at this stage is the Mountain Drake. And there's another one on the way just 2 minutes out. Potentially a catalyst for these teams to fight.
Super important for both these rosters. If Fnatic can get their hands on a couple of Mountain Dragons, Baron will go down so quickly. Kog'Maw is incredibly annoying to play against if you are playing against a team that has good Baron control. Fnatic actually historically is a team that's not shying away from rushing 20-minute Barons. So definitely need to watch out if G2 get surprised there.
Special Forces Gangplank comes in.
Yup. If only Braum could like put a shield above his head, you know. The umbrella door.
Block the incoming damage.
Yeah.
Fevin stunned to the wall. Damage comes in. He's going to be able to pull out of this one. He's waiting. Doesn't want to get caught out by that bomb.
He ducks under the bomb. So that's possible. Like Vladimir can get under.
Oh, Reckless caught. Is this the play? Disengage comes in. The shield is up. Move in from Trick. They're trying to get Reckless back, but he's alive and well, and he's dishing out tons of damage. Trick gets knocked down. He'll come back up. Flash forward from Reckless. He's not going to get another one, but he will grab Trick in the end. Or is he going to get it? Yes, Rampage for Reckless.
Ooh, Rampage for Reckless. Yellow Star puts up his shield after the bomb's hit, but there was enough peel because Reckless managed to flash out. We need to watch that again then. Did Trick leave him a window where he tried to auto-attack instead of the casking immediately? Because that was the game changer right there. He managed to get out of that Gragas ultimate and then completely wreck that fight. Actually, no, he flashed in afterwards, so there must have been a mistake in angling then from Trick.
Yeah, we'll watch it one more time.
Oh, he probably exploded on the shield from the Braum. That's also something that can happen. So watch this again. So this is where it starts. Good ultimate from mid-T. And then the shield from Yellow Star. No, just a mistake in angling. He just doesn't get the right angle on Reckless, who was next to the wall, and then Reckless can aggressively flash in afterwards too. It is so dangerous to hard commit onto Kog'Maw into this comp because you can't ignore the damage that Vladimir and Rumble deal.
And that's exactly, not only that, but you saw what happens when you burn all of your cooldowns and you do not kill the Kog'Maw. Reckless got to aggressively flash forward, and if it not for the flashes of Sven and Perks respectively, they would have gotten burned down in an instant. They were just a few autos apiece away from death, and with the Runans, I mean, Kog'Maw just gets to sit back, fire away. So very terrifying spot for G2 to be in.
They're looking for another pick here, but they don't have the vision control to support it. They really need to start playing around the cadence of this Kog'Maw W. Whenever it goes down for a fraction of a second, you need to go in. If you're G2, and you just need to respect it, because with Runans, with Sen, he can single-handedly carry fights, and Fnatic have done this in the past. You know, remember the Kalista days when they had Lulu comps built around Reckless. This is not the first time this team has resorted around a protected Reckless composition, and it's honestly where Reckless very often shines.
Very good decision making. Playing around this, knows when enough cooldowns have been burned that he can get aggressive, that he can move forward, knows when to back off, knows when to sit and do that damage with G2. They're not looking to give him the opportunity. Tempered Fate comes in, nice sidestep for Reckless. TP's coming in for Fnatic. Good peel. Now set to back off. Perks running for his life. The portal is there, but the taunt forward. Great play coming in from Kikis. Yellowstar gonna get that one, and Trick just gonna have to walk away from this.
Yeah, another super forced play here by G2 Esports with a high cost of failure. They couldn't synchronize Bard ulti with the Cannon Barrage to guarantee a hit on a Flasher's Reckless, and that in the end has to be a mistake. So we need to look at both the placement of the Cannon Barrage and Miffy's ultimate as a catalyst to see why Fnatic won that fight.
But despite all of this, the gold remains dead even as G2 grab a tower in the meantime. Expect opting not to TP to that fight. Commit to the Cannon Barrage and nothing else. But Fnatic, now that they grab a tower of their own as well as the Mountain Drake, are going to pull ahead, even by a small margin. 900 gold, about 1K. Not a massive advantage, but G2 slowly losing control here.
I look at it, so they could start the Dragon here if they want to, but they're so desperate to force a fight. I mean, it's too obvious at this point. Like, look at it. This Gangplank ult is actually a mistake. If you want to cast this, and this is nitty-gritty, and this is like Crepper whining again, but if your whole goal in this fight, when Vladimir is not present, remember, you're engaging on a 4-man squad that has a 1-man pincer with Vladimir. The whole goal is to hit the Kog'Maw. That is your main mission. So what you do is you place Gangplank ulti on top of the Kog'Maw, slightly behind him. So either he jukes into your team, or he has to run through the Gangplank ulti. And if he has to run through the Gangplank ulti a certain distance, you can guarantee Bard ulti hitting there. If you cast it purely on the Kog'Maw, then you can follow up and try and kill him. But that was just slightly missing on both these abilities. And then Fnatic said, okay, you just use both of your priority engagers. We have Fevin flanking from left side. You guys are done for. And a good taunt flash came in from Kikis.
Not at all. G2 wanted to be. Really need to line up these abilities better. Target priority a little bit better in the coming fights.
And that will always be a win condition for G2. Tempered Fate on Kog'Maw, maybe +1 into double stun. But Mithy, just be careful right now because these mages are getting stronger. He has a support here.
Oh, good double stun coming in. Spirit taking a lot of damage. Oh, Reckless maybe look to start the fight. Reckless knock back to the team, but can they cut him down before he cuts through them? It looks like no. Beautiful team fight coordination. Fnatic pulled the trigger, and G2 set now to go down as they start to clean up.
Yeah, G2 went in with only half their weapons presence. There was cooldowns on double bomb, cooldowns on the Bar Q, and Reckless knowingly walked into his demise. He knew he was going to get blown up, but he kept fighting, and he spit out so much damage. Now Keek is going in.
Not going to get the opportunity to get for anything more. Expect throwing back a little bit of damage of his own. G2 just holding on to what they can after another lost team fight. You can hear the fans absolutely go ballistic.
That is so much damage. Look at Fevivin and Spirit on his Rumble. So it all starts with Mithy having to back up initially. Rumble deals incredible amounts of damage if you're isolated. Gets 2 E-procs and then the Flame Sweeper turns around. Mithy knows that he has Zillion ulti to use, worst case. Again, half their tools are used. Cooldowns are present. Reckless gets knocked in, one bomb, and then Perks is to back off because he doesn't have the double bomb reset, and so Reckless gets to survive for the duration of that bomb, spit out enough damage, and then this Vladimir Rumble combo can just clean up. And again, this is G2 not synchronizing their engages.
Such a scary spot for G2 to be. Mithy continuing to play on the front lines.
That ward disappeared.
Rage Blade coming out for the Kog'Maw as well.
Yep.
A lot of times we've seen that third item, Blade of the Rune King. Reckless not concerned. He knows he's doing the damage. He just wants to do even more. Sustain, not a part of the deal.
Yeah, on it, Kog'Maw. Incredibly hard to deal with because so strong early in the game. The L-Star will destroy the projectile. Yeah, there we go.
Walking a lot there. G2, you can tell they're still hungry for blood, but they know that they can't go in now that Reckless is left. Kind of unattended to. 6, 2, and 4. Absolutely terrifying.
Good shield by L-Star. Surprise Perks didn't throw out the second bomb there because Braum kind of auto-absorbs double bombs if you throw it even closely to his direction because they'll just snap onto him. And then it's an instant AoE stun. So if you're hiding behind a Braum shield, step away because the zillion bombs are going to hit him, you know? Now Fnatic's rushing Baron here, but everybody's ready. Fnatic still need to be super careful if they clump up, you know, any double bomb shenanigans. Either intentional or accidental by a double bomb shield. Look, you know, it clips on top of his head the second he puts up that shield, which means if Yell starts trying to peel for somebody that's behind him, double bomb will just instantly hit him.
Oh, nice little delivery system there from the Gragas. Interestingly enough, Frostqueen's Claim coming out, looking to slow these guys down as they cut through that tower. In comes the equalizer. Perks, has he overextended though? The fight begins to start. Starting to get cut down. Ultimate comes out. He will drop in the end, but Shen is on the way. Keep your eye on Reckless in the back line. He's waiting for an opportunity to go. Perks gets locked up. Beautiful flash taunt for the pick on the side of Fnatic.
That was impressive because he went for the first taunt that got juked and then he reactively adapted on the fly and said, you know what, I'm going to catch you anyways.
Beautiful play. I mean, we look at this matchup. This is former brothers battling each other. When we look at this, Kick is so long the star top laner of this team, swapped out for Expect, opting to leave the team in the end. He's on Fnatic. Right now, he is absolutely crushing it. 2-0 and 6. Beautiful display of mechanics here, but Reckless potentially caught out. Trick maybe can look to play. Is he going to get cut down? Spirit's Refuge buys him a bit of time. Fnatic say no.
So disgusting to play against. Hang on, ultimate on Reckless.
That's a lock up.
Take
Trick
2.
wants something. Is he going to get it? Oh, it's not enough! Oh, Reckless. Count your blessings. Makes it out with his life. TP now coming in from G2. They want to keep this party rolling. They know the Kog'Maw is no longer a factor.
Oh, Kikis with the save again. The W, the Spirit's Refuge, puts up a zone from Shen where auto attacks get denied. So when Reckless was stunned there, sold by Kikis initially, the Spirit's Refuge actually kept him alive and destroyed all the projectiles that Ven was throwing at him, allowing him to survive.
Spirit, the chain CC comes in. The long slow goodbye. G2, they're now moving in. They're going to clear out some of this vision around Baron. Are they going to start it, though? Reckless alive and well. Got 40 seconds left on Spirit, 10 seconds left on Trick. This game is dead even.
Yep, super even. It's all conditional around whether Reckless gets caught or not. But right now, he's playing the next 5 minutes without his flash. And Mithy is itemizing purely for catch. He's going for Frost Queens, and he has reduced cooldown thanks to the new Ruby Sightstone, 20% reduction on activable items. This is where G2 was zoning Fnatic away from mid. So Fnatic decided to brute force their way in. Perks' ultimate, Gangplank ulti comes debatably early. Then he flashes out. Look at Kikis right here. Gets his talent juke. At the very end, flashes onto Perks anyways. This is no escape possible for Perks if executed perfectly by Fnatic. And then Reckless gets sold. Somebody's gonna chain the Braum Q or the Bard Q on him. I think it was Kikis, but then he survives in the end.
Works out well, of course. G2 get a kill back on Spirit. 12-8 though, kills still very heavily in the favor of Fnatic.
But there's so many damage dealers on both these squads. Like, expect getting a good combo, people die. Februven and Reckless can unleash on a team fight, but if they get kind of targeted, Spirit can solo carry fights too.
Went out. Looking at this Gangplank, he just continues to get scarier, and it was so easy for them to protect the Kog'Maw earlier, but it just gets harder and harder. And as you said, that Bard Tempered Fate, always an option to get these fights started. Fnatic, no matter how far ahead they get, they always have to respect that, because this game can turn in an instant.
And that's what you don't see, because a lot of people at home might be like, okay, why isn't Fnatic, pushing their advantage? Why are they being so hesitant? Because they always have to play around, one, their vision, you don't know what they see, and two, the fact that out of anywhere, any brush, a GP ulti combined with Tempered Fate can come flying out, which should have 100% hit rate on Reckless. If both these abilities get combined semi-decently, Reckless is caught. He just simply doesn't have the move speed to move out.
Now moving potentially for more here. G2 going to pick up an Ocean Drake in the meantime, while Fnatic are figuring out exactly what they want to do. The poke laid down.
Yeah, Perks just poking with the bombs here. Ghosties come out. Frontline getting targeted here. Fnatic looking to turn through with Equalizer.
Pulling the trigger on the Tempered Fate. It's going to go up instead, but Spirit's going to get off the Equalizer before the fight starts. Now G2 have to run, but they're in the funnel.
Evan's low. But that's his ultimate.
Way in.
That was good reaction from a couple of people there. So Spirit is kind of peeling aggressively, forcing his way into the fight to disincentivize G2 from moving forward. Then he gets the Bar ulti thrown on him, but as a reaction, he immediately equalizers. Then Februven stops forwards to create some space for Spirit to leave the scene. Then Februven goes back out, It's like this yo-yo, not leaving a man behind. Very important for Fnatic. And G2's aggression was thwarted.
Yeah, still looking for those picks. Such great tools to start those fights, but they always have to be careful if they overextend into any of this team fight damage. If they, God forbid, let themselves sit in front of Reckless for even a second, that Kog'Maw can cut them down.
This is where I'm still a little bit surprised that Yellow starts running Ignite over Exhaust, because there's so many threats that are coming at your backline. Like, or even you can get Exhaust on a Zillion, lower his damage on the second bomb proc, and Exhaust into Sven. Heavily impacts the Sivir. Ignite hostage due date right now.
Of course, as we move forward too, Sven approaching that terrifying 4-item point for the Sivir. He's just going to have to ult out of this one.
Cheeky Kikis. As a Shen, you can always go for a taunt there, and if your opponent really respects you, he will just panic flash. But Sven, either wanting to flash reactively or not believing that he would go for the flash play.
He knows, man. It's like poker, right? He's played against him, he's played with him.
Well, he knew about poker. Stop advising people at poker when you can't play it, Sifa.
No, I'm really bad. I've lost so much money.
Oh, so you can't play it. You're just bad at it.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, I thought that's how you would interpret that.
And you mean you
cannot play poker.
You lost a lot of milkshakes, is what you're saying.
Milkshakes.
Yes.
Milkshakes. Just milkshakes.
Yes. We would never do such a thing. Campbell, no.
No. There's so many. Never mind. All right, focusing back. Both teams just looking for the setup. Mithy has the ultimate available. Gangplank has the ultimate available. We're waiting for one member of Fnatic to step out of play. Similarly, Fnatic waiting for G2 to overcommit.
And this is one of those games where it goes a little stale and people keep dancing around each other's engagement abilities, and Fnatic suddenly get a Baron. But here, Reckless has flash.
Oh, flash out?
Yeah, and reset. And that's it, G2 have done their job. But right now they've used 2 minutes on most of their cooldowns and ultimates that they will have to wait too. But it'll leave about a 3.5 to 3 minutes window where Fnatic now has to play without flashing their AD carry. But both teams need to be careful. At any time, people can sneak Baron, especially G2. They could technically portal from behind on the Baron too.
Not going to take that opportunity yet. We'll have to see what their strategy becomes. Now Reckless is going to spittle down that tower.
Yeah, they lose tier 1 mid, but they invest into a Baron play because top wave is pushing right now. They can send Expectant to the bottom, and if Fnatic don't clear out perfectly here, G2 will have option to get river control later on. That's how these plays evolve. Like Fnatic pushing mid, but have to back off to deal with their side lanes. which means G2 is then free to move into the Baron area themselves. So they kind of trade tier 1 tower mid for access to a Baron bait.
And both teams looking 1 or 2 steps ahead. G2 now seeing Shen come in on the bottom side of the map. They have that vision there.
Yeah, look
Vladimir
at the
on the
minimap.
top.
Vladimir top, Shen bottom. That means, okay, 3-man is pushed back by the zone from bottom. Guess what? You know, support and jungle can move in and guarantee absolute vision in the Baron pit. And it's just a little bit of pressure right now. And when Fnatic come knocking, it's like, who's there? Well, Tempered Fate will be there. And those are Spice guys.
Yeah, you can see him there. They're wondering why there's not a Scion in this game. Look at that. I don't know what they're agreeing on, but clearly they're very unified.
They're being coached. Basically, they got the gameplay down. Hang on. Reckless is caught.
Oh, Reckless caught out. Are they going to be able to get it? So much damage in onto him. He's caught in the back line. He's all alone,
Reckless.
but he does so much back in the exchange. Mithy set to fall, but he's going to live. The Chrono Shift backing up. He has to flash out now. Fnatic not done yet. In comes the Vladimir. The fight continues. They burned everything on Reckless, but there's so many members left alive. Trick trying to swing it back. Low health on both sides. Expect makes his way into the fight, but is it too little too late? It's chaos here. Vevevin gets the Crimson Rush. He's looking for more. Sven's going to clean up Spirit. Vevevin, has he overstayed his welcome? Speed up onto Sven. The spell shield comes out. Down goes Vevevin. At the end of the day, G2 one shot, one kill on the mid laner, and they're pushing down the mid lane.
Yeah, complete headshot, close range onto Fev, and he got executed right there. But what a fight there. It all started with a beautiful Tempered Fate that I like to see. And then Trick did a great thing there too. He didn't try to use his ultimate from behind the Braum shield. He E-flashed right on top of Reckless, guaranteeing knocking him back into the fight. Let's watch this again. So Reckless overextends. Yeah, you can't do this actually. You just can't challenge his wave this close against Sivir. This is just a mistake. And then look at Trick right now. I think he actually E-flashes over. Yep, for proximity. And gets Reckless. Even if he was right in front of them, he wants to guarantee the E-flash into Reckless. And then he knocks him into the team. But then the revive kind of gets wasted on Mitty. Common mistake by mid laners. Suddenly they start caring about their supports. But Sven cleans up this fight on the back end. Yeah, 4 white from Sivir does so much damage. That's something what Sven is so great at as a player. Cleaning up these fights.
Just goes to town. Here comes execution. Poor Vladimir. That's not what he signed up for.
Nope. He wants to steal their blood.
14-11. Got a 2K gold lead in favor of G2, so still a very even game.
Yeah, because they didn't get anything, and Reckless's flash is approaching, which means the next time G2 try this shenanigans, Reckless will be able to flash out of Tempered Fate. It's all about whoever gets access to the Baron. Baron will be the game closer.
Taking a bit of poke here. Vision being traded back and forth. Fnatic moving to take control of the pit. They know they have advantage for right now.
And you can tell it's a tense game because G2 has not been playing 1-3-1. Their top lane sidewave has been ignored for the majority of the time. They've been slow pushing. And here, Fnatic's going to brute force a fight. They don't want the map to be played by G2, so stay with Baron. And look at how quick he goes down.
He's looking to set up the fight. Trick on his way in. They're not going to get it. Spirit smites it away, but the double bomb setup is onto Reckless. He's getting cut through, but Sven isolated out by the equalizer, trying to get down the damage. Reckless is still alive. Trick trying to get down the damage. Expect flashes it. Down goes the 80 carry. They're cutting through. They're looking for more. Vevevin set to fall. Sven is a madman as he cleans up here. Boomerang blade for style points. G2, they may lose the Baron, but they take control of the fight.
Oh, would have been a great play by Fnatic if Reckless had flash, but he remained stationary and his W was down for a short time as well because they just put all their money on the Baron. But then Mithy was the River King. The last card came to play. Reckless got AoE by the double bomb combo. There was no Braum shield to protect against these bombs. And we need to watch that again. Could Yellowstar have predicted this play and shielded the bombs away from Reckless?
And his kick is dropped. He said it would be about playing around the Baron. It would be about the Baron itself. Well, G2 may have lost it, but they grabbed the inhibitor. And they're moving in to end the game. No fear. Spirit, the only man here to defend this. G2 looking to send Fnatic to the tiebreaker. Spirit goes down. They're set to end this out. G2 moving in. Expect on a rampage, cleaning up house. Yellowstar doing his best to defend. In comes Reckless. They're gonna get it in the end. One final auto attack from the Pirate closes it out, and G2 one final 2-0 to close the season.
Yeah, G2 finishing the season in first place. Zen and Mitty joined them at the start of the season. After a few weeks, Kikis, now top laner for Fnatic, left them because he was not satisfied with the substitution position that was going on. Expect came in rough, but he has been progressing, did a good job this game. Some ultimates can still be better, so there was a bit of a synergy issue. Here we see, still good friends here. They parted amicably. There was no bad blood between these teams. They've been Perks always trolling everybody a little bit when he wins.
Gotta just get the
Yep.
little rub in. Of course, Fnatic.
You have to gear up by now. They will be playing a
you
tiebreaker.
cannot afford to be down and out right now. They are going to be playing a tiebreaker. We're going to give them a brief break. They're going to prep. They got to work on those strategies. They're fighting with H2K for that 4th place slot. Keep in mind, this decides seeding in the end, but Fnatic and H2K are going to play each other. The question is, who is going to get more opportunity for side selection? Who's going to come in as the higher seed? Could be crucial. I mean, if 6 beats 3, suddenly running out there is important in the reseed.
You definitely want to be as high of a seed as you can, so you get to play Splice instead of G2. But honestly, I don't even know if that's exactly what you want. Splice, when they're actually trying to win, look impressive.
Are you telling me that the Sion comp wasn't serious, and we're not going to see a Kali or Sion ever again?
I mean, the Sion actually has a place, but you can only conduct a scientific experiment if you in pick and bans if you change like one variable, right? Because you want to see how Sion operates in a normal team environment. But then the dirty top laner picked a call, messing with the vibes,
Yeah,
that's
ruining the experiment, the whole thing.
All right, we have a quick replay that I wanted to see at the end. I just got told. And this is where I just wanted to judge real quick. So this double bomb comes down. Yeah, and Yellowstar was dealing with Sven here. It's so hard to play that. I don't think you can blame him for that fight. But Reckless stays alive so long, but it's all about this double bomb coming down early, and then because if that one connects, Reckless has just put solo on a fight. And Fnatic, they tried to rush it down, but they had no escape plan. And perhaps they could have waited for Reckless to have flash, or just put him in the pit, back of the pit, and then just fight their way out, kind of hold the door. But it didn't work out. Really good punish by G2.
Yeah, I think excellent collapse there, coming in from multiple sides as well, making it very difficult for Yellowstar to set up. As you said, I mean, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Maybe he could have blocked all those sources of damage, but really not. I mean
it's
at that
impossible.
point, you just don't have enough arms.
Yeah, it reminds me of
shields.
what I was playing. Like I used to play soccer or football. I'll say soccer for the Americans. And I was a goalkeeper, and I was really good at it because I was short and the goals were small. But then the goals became really big, and I stayed really small. And I couldn't catch them. So now I know how Yellowstar feels. And my reaction obviously was to fill the goal in a different dimension. Didn't work out because then Gravity started working in again, so I got countered. A hard counter by Gravity. But yeah, it was so hard, I think, for a Braum in that situation to catch them all, Gotta play more Pokemon Go.
All right, well, Pokemon Go aside, Pulse is on stage with Mithy. Let's see how he feels about that 2-0 result.
Yes, I am. Thanks, guys. Here with Miffy. First off, going to talk about that series in general. First game was like a whitewash. Second game was significantly harder. Talk to me what happened.
Well, the first game, we outdrafted them and we played our comp well and they couldn't do anything. And second game, our plan was that we would have enough catch and like a lot of mobility with our champs, like Silver Bard, and we would like just open up the map as soon as possible and use GP ults and just try and catch the static pick they had on Kog'Maw. But the problem was that in between those Shen ults and the Shen W and the Braum E, we couldn't really burst him even though he got stunned, and sometimes I missed my ults and stuff. So we kind of had to adapt in the game, and at some point we were losing fights and we were saying, okay guys, we actually can't kill Kog'Maw, so just don't play the fight to catch him and kill him, but play to like bait them into maybe using spells to defend him, and then we like kill the guys in the front or something like that. We were like kind of trying to make a plan on how we wanted to play fights because we kind of understood it was not working to just focus Kog'Maw because of Shen ult and all the other stuff.
I mean, in that game, of course, you had the tools to deal with the Kog'Maw, but we are seeing Kog'Maw come back into the European LCS now. So what's the reasoning for that?
I think the Wits End first item and just the build itself makes it good. Has a lot of damage. His Hurricane basically interacts with all of his items. So it's a good hyper carry as long as it's able to stand still and do damage. But in this game, he would only be able to do that if we try to focus him. But if we don't focus him, maybe if Gragas ults him out instead of in, then he will actually not do damage, He's not like, he's an AD carry that doesn't have anything to walk up to the fight. So if you can push him back, CC him, he doesn't really get the full like potential of the champion. So we kind of try to play around it.
Okay, well, cool. We've got the micro now. I want to take a look at the macro. You guys, of course, knocked Fnatic now into a tiebreaker against H2K. So how do you think that set's going to go between those two teams?
I mean, it's kind of funny because I don't really care. I don't know I actually don't know anything about the standings, so I don't know how it turns out. The reason why we try-harded against Fnatic was basically Riot is hosting a pool party now, so we thought it would be cool for us to see Fnatic play a tiebreaker while we're at the pool.
Okay. Well, just putting them down there for that. Well, thank you very much for the interview there, Miffy. We're going to send it over to the analyst desk to take a look at that series.
Welcome to the post-game lobby. I'm joined by the Physio Stress, a quick shot to break down the results of the EU LCS Summer Split. We got another tie! No, you don't want to join the party.
I was going to do it for the Vitality game because they managed to secure a spot in the LCS, but now we do it for tiebreaker instead.
Okay.
That was a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Weren't you paying attention?
Well, the fact they won the tiebreaker.
Anyway, announcement. Obviously, we're in the post-game lobby because with our final standings resulting in a tie for 4th place between Fnatic and H2K, the teams will be given 30 minutes as per league rules before they play out a best-of-1 tiebreaker. That will be coming your way after the post-game lobby. That means we get to talk for 30 minutes, and there is a lot to talk about.
We need like a warning sign
Finally!
now. This is actually us talking because we have to fill time. We need to give these teams 30 minutes.
Yes.
We're not talking because we want to only. Or we do actually also really want to
Yeah,
talk.
you really want to talk. So let's start by talking about that last regularly scheduled match game between Fnatic and G2 that gave us a tiebreaker. In the end, well, not much to say. Oh yeah, a lot to say rather, but the Rumble Jungle in there again.
Meh.
You don't like
Yeah. Don't like the Rumble in the jungle. I think you can just pick a tank instead or something with much better early game if you want to punish the Gragas instead of just playing team fights. But honestly, it was a game where G2, as Mithy just said in the interview, kind of needed to adapt in the game because they were losing fights because Regulars was just kind of two-shotting everyone. And then they realized, oh, maybe we just CC him and kill the front line. We're going to win. And G2 showed they are a much better team than Fnatic overall. And that's kind of what we were hoping they would show.
Yeah. However, when watching that game, I did have the feeling that in a big part of that game, rather, Fnatic showed some really good moves. They played well around Reckless and the Kog'Maw. Or did I not see the same game?
No, I think Fnatic had some good moves. They won a few team fights, definitely. It was much better than the first game where they got stomped. Yeah. So definitely some...
I didn't get to see the first game because I was casting the tiebreaker between Schalke and Vitality. What was the TLDR? Because I heard Pulse mention that it was like heavily one-sided, but like how?
Yeah.
Why?
So imagine Fnatic, they tried to run,
Okay.
but like when they took one step forward, they just crashed and like smacked the head down the surface already, and then G2 just kind of ran over them. Basically what happened, Whirlip also had a really poor game again, like a bit like yesterday. So getting Kikis back in definitely made them much stronger, which is what we expect, and I think Kikis is going to play every single playoff game.
Yeah, I can see that as well. Looking forward to the playoffs in just a second. Now the tiebreaker versus H2K after the H2K that went 4-0 with Forgiven in their ranks. Now today also a 2-0 victory over OG. I feel like it should be a done deal for H2K.
I think so too. I mean, I got to do the H2K games on the other stream against Origin, and it was not pretty. Origin really got pulled apart. Game 2 was over in 26 minutes.
So basically like Fnatic's game 1 against G2?
I'd imagine so. I didn't catch it, but yes, I think it's worth saying. And, you know, for H2K, yes, this is kind of like a weird tiebreaker because you're playing for 4th, 5th. You're still facing your opponent. But I think having that side selection in an additional game can be pivotal. And if Unicorns somehow upset Giants, obviously having the higher seed does matter when you go to the reseeding. So, you know, you want to technically have all opportunities and all possibilities in your favor to be in control of it.
Yeah, I just heard that we have the coin toss and H2K is on blue side and 1, so we have that for the tiebreaker. You were talking about how interesting it is that how things kind of played out, seeing from the beginning of the split, and now you have Giants and Splice. They will not be meeting H2K or Fnatic. Obviously, Splice does because they're in the top 2, or it will be Fnatic and H2K, the 2 teams that we'd actually expected to be in the top 3 at the beginning of the split.
Right.
Go at it in that first match of the playoffs.
Yeah, so because of Fnatic losing now, and because Fnatic got a 1-1 yesterday when they tried to play Whirlip against Rocket and dropped a game, I cannot highlight that enough because they lost a game to number 10 in the EU LCS. They're now out of the top 3 and actually have to play against H2K in a quarterfinal. And H2K were Forgiven on a patch with no lane swaps. Like, they're going to be super strong in playoffs. Fnatic might drop out of quarters.
Yeah, it's a big worry now for Fnatic fans when you look at that. Looking at this particular best of 1, I think there are still a few weaknesses perhaps for H2K. We have seen a bit of focus go on towards Forgiven again in the picks and bans phase. Always is going to be the story. He always faces those bans from the Lucian as well. So there are aspects for Fnatic in the next 30 minutes to maybe have kept an eye on the H2K games previously, and maybe if they can come up with some kind of a solution to H2K's H2K's pressure that Forgiven puts out. But if it is a 2v2, I think this coming matchup is a tough one for them.
It'll be very interesting. Let's take a look at the standings as they are now. As we said already, things have gone incredibly crazy here in the summer split. G2 Esports is in first. Then we have Splice in second. They didn't manage to overtake G2 today. But then Giants, Fnatic, H2K, the Unicorns of Love are your playoff teams. And obviously at the bottom of the table locked in.
And of course, okay, so two things. Giants in third, first of all, is
fantastic.
A surprise.
Yeah.
And also, even though they're on the same points, because they have more series wins than either Fnatic and H2K, they win that tiebreaker. So they are automatically bumped up.
I love that, by the way. The fact that they kind of under the radar got all those series wins and now are, yeah, trumping these teams.
They won a lot, they lost a lot, didn't draw. So
No
who
way.
knew?
Who knew that a BO2 system is about being consistent and getting a lot of 2-0s, because that's what
Wait,
you get rewarded
But they
for.
also lost a lot, so they weren't consistent, right?
Well, I mean, consistently getting
Fine.
2-0s
that's-
then.
yeah.
Like, consistent on the day is
Yeah.
what's really important. No, fantastic story with Giants, fantastic story with Splice. I mean, have you shown us this standings at week 1? We've been like,
Never.
Splice and Giants, number 2 and 3, doesn't make any sense. I wonder,
yeah.
I want to put it like an open question. I'm not going to say my own opinion on this, just open question.
I believe that.
Is the fact that Giants and Splice are able to get number 2 and number 3, is that more due to H2K, Fnatic, Origin, Vitality, this team actually really underperforming this split? Or is it due to Giants and Giants and Splice just getting much, much, much better and actually playing at the top level?
I'm going to cut you off because you were answering your question again.
I was getting a
I
second
actually think it's a little bit of both, because I think you've seen these other teams not live up to expectations, and I think more importantly, not adapting to a consistent level throughout the split. Giants and Splice, on the other hand, as the weeks have rolled on, have consistently been on an upward trajectory. You know, every now and again, Giants will drop the ball, but they'll immediately pick it back up and carry on going up. H2K dropped the ball, then chased it down a hill, then kicked it with their shoe, and, you know, chased it all the way along while stumbling down. Similar stories for Fnatic. And I just think for Giants and Splice overall, if you step back and look at all 9 weeks, that's what their growth and their performance and their average level is, especially when you look at the new imported Koreans on the Giants roster.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I also think there have been a lot of catastrophic failures. Origin, I think, is the highest, publicized one. They go from second in a split to promotion tournament in like 9 weeks. Gone. Down. Rocket, we expected a little bit more from after week 1. They were looking okay, and then down straight again, lost streak. The same thing happened. Vitality, looking at it, coming in after a strong showing in the regular split last time. Again, failure to launch on everything.
I want to jump in on Vitality because that's a team that never found a gear.
Yeah.
Like the entire split long, Vitality has looked like the 7th or 8th place team, and I have very rarely felt, oh, that was a good performance. You know, in the scheme of the big picture. Schalke, they're the opposite. Schalke had a big bang to start the split and then just completely
This is their
face
tiebreaker, I
But
believe.
I think basically we can look at 3 of the 4 teams in the bottom of the standing and say they kind of lost the offseason a bit. Like Origin lost the best bot lane we have, as an example. Vitality lost Yanan, who was a very important member when in terms of shot calling, and picked up Mighty Bear, who just didn't fit the team at all. And obviously Rocket thought they had like the golden recipe, the golden lineup, turned out to not be true at all. So these teams have really been struggling from the changes they made in the offseason. Schalke got slightly stronger, but then weren't able to kind of adapt around.
I mean, the clips you're looking at now is from the opening series on Stream 2. Game 1 went really, really late. And this Rise performance from Fox actually got it banned in the tiebreaker. He really actually showed a good mastery of the damage versus the shield and the mobility that Rise offers. And that game was way more convincing. Schalke came out, they won the early game, they closed it up by about 30-odd minutes. They won the early game in the tiebreaker as well, but then Gilius literally threw.
Yeah, this is something that the Fisho mentioned over and over during watching the games, that this is a thing, this is a symptom, this is something we've seen throughout the entire split, that Gilius take it and give it away, and literally sometimes tries to jump in and make the big play, and it's all right in his head, but it just doesn't pan out for the team.
Nope. Again, we see it so often. We know the other members from Schalke can actually win you games, and yet Gilius are trying really, really hard. I'm kind of sad we don't have a replay from this, but from the tiebreaker game where Schalke is winning at the tier 2 turret in the mid lane of Vitality, randomly Gilius goes in to try and make the sickest kick flash ever, you know.
Shook, the jungler.
Get the massive highlight reel. And he's like, wait a minute, I'm stuck in here now. And he like ends up going for some risky play, dies, you know, they overdive, they all end up going down. And then suddenly Vitality gets a massive advantage. Take Baron and got like 5 towers.
Yep.
And you're just like, why? You didn't have to do that. Your Vladimir was like 5-0.
And it's very funny that it was Gilius that was a couple of weeks back, the first 3 weeks of the season, saying, last split, I got all of that out of my system. I kind of realized I need to be a little aggressive in the early game, but I've got the experience now to actually lead this team. And then a couple of weeks down the line, all of that seems to have gone away, and now it's just pure aggression and just attempting to force things. Maybe it's the frustration of potentially being in promo tournament for them, and now they are.
I gotta say that I do respect kind of the persona that Gilius is, and he puts it all out there, He puts it on social media, he puts it all on the Rift, he does
for better or worse.
For better or for worse, and obviously this will be kind of a shock, and we'll see how they can do. Hopefully they can get it together so we get a lot of good matches in that promotion
He's the
tournament.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Zlatan
Very vocal, tries to make the big plays all the time.
That's prizes, though.
Okay, so maybe he's not as successful yet, but he has the kind of personality that could become
for the record
on
that tiebreak. And since we're on the topic, that's the first time in 4 splits that Schalke, who took the element spot, is now not in 7th.
Yeah.
So the curse, the Team Liquid fourth forever, is now broken.
It's broken.
Thanks to Vitality and Sean's and
the Fnatic champion was also broken. That was broken by Alliance already.
Yeah, that was already done. But the other thing about Schalke is, we talk a lot about Gilius. We've got to look at Fox, Rales, these players that should be putting up performances that we've spoken about before, where it's these guys are consistently strong, they're good, but they're not winning games. That for some reason, Schalke, whether it's not being able to come together with the strength that those two get, they just can't really seem to control things. And they lose games they should win. They don't know how to close. They don't seem to have that killer instinct. And maybe Gilius is trying to get it, but he's just overextending too far from it.
I think it's just shot calling issues.
Yeah.
Now I do want to know more. Tell me.
It's just whenever we have watched teams with Rales on, whenever they tend to go late game, it tends to be very passive, no chances are being taken. We know Rales is a very vocal member. It's something Spraddle talked about when he was on the desk, a few weeks ago, saying Rales gets the final call. I think Schalke have struggled when it come down to late game, macro and shot calling, all split long.
Yep.
So while they're great early games in the start, and we were like, whoa, Gilius is carrying and he's setting up the mid lane, it's awesome. It was late game, shaky. And then when you don't win the early game and you have shaky late game, you will lose a lot of games.
Good TLDR. We'll talk a bit more about the promotion tournament later, but I do want to turn my attention to the teams that have made it in the playoffs and take a look at the bracket as it stands now. And it won't change, actually. Just a side selection might change for Fnatic and H2K. Obviously, G2 going in as a first seed, Splice as a second seed. So Giants, UOL up first, and Fnatic H2K.
And this is here again where I'm looking at Giants and Splice and the stories of these two teams, because when you consider the fact Fnatic and H2K didn't make a whole lot of changes coming into this split, they shouldn't technically suddenly be much worse than Giants and Splice, who obviously had Splice a lot to work on and Giants a lot of new members.
I do not mind this playoff bracket at all, because in my mind, G2 is undoubtedly the best team in Europe for a while, okay? Splice is now up there challenging. And the people who have to challenge Splice then have to take each other out. So Fnatic or H2K are fighting for the right to battle the current best team in Europe. I think Splice, I'm not ignoring accepting their UOL defeat from earlier as real. And then what this basically means in my mind is you have this gauntlet of people fighting to earn the right to challenge Europe's #1. Winner from Spring, the most talented players, technically maybe the best macro, if they don't let their own bravado get the best of them.
Something that I've picked up from a lot of players that we've asked on the desk, as well as when I come off an interview or this and that, is that not that many actually count Splice or see them as that big of a threat. They usually think of them as kind of part of not the #1 and then down with some of the rest of the pack, which I think is quite interesting because we see it differently.
Yeah, we see it differently. G2 sees it differently because when they're talking about Splice, they're like, no, these guys are legit.
Yeah.
No, these guys are legit.
True.
It's a top 2 team. It's us and then it's everyone else.
It's more the middle of the pack that doesn't really...
They want to pull them down. G2's pulling them up,
Now, there's 2 sides to this discussion. There's a very hard side of this bracket with H2K and Fnatic on it, and then there's Giants and Unicorns over the other side. However, what that is going to give us, theoretically, G2 going into finals is going to give us the best opponent for G2.
That's
because
why I
if
like
Splice hold on through both, whoever comes out of Fnatic, H2K in a best of 5, that'll tell us that Splice are ready for it.
Right. I think actually Splice, looking at this bracket, they're very, very happy, as you just said as well, because I think they're actually going to go to the final. Judging from this, I think Giants are going to take down Unicorns, and because they're then going to be the highest seed, they will automatically play Splice in the semifinal. And
I'm just gonna say, H2K with Forgiven. I was blown away.
Yes, but
these 2 days.
as long as Giants beat Unicorns, H2K with Forgiven will not face Splice before a finals, because they will go against G2.
Lower seed.
So you have Fnatic H2K fighting against potential G2, because of now Fnatic also losing the 3rd place, and then Giants taking on Splice is my prediction for a semifinal. And that means Splice will be favorites to actually go into the final, which is a insane story.
This is a good reminder of like what is up at stake in the tiebreaker that's coming up, because if by some miracle Unicorns of Love beat Giants, if Giants show up on a day that they get 0-2'd, you know, or 0-3'd in the best of 5, because they will either win it all or lose it all, then all of a sudden, whoever wins this tiebreaker is the team that goes to face Splice.
Well, technically,
if get the bracket up again, rather.
If Unicorns of Love wins, it actually doesn't matter if you're 4th or 5th seed, because Unicorns will always be the lowest seed possible and will face G2 no matter what.
Yeah.
So then number 4, number 5 actually doesn't matter. It's all about, does Giants win? Well, then Fnatic H2K will play G2. Does Unicorns win? Well, then Fnatic and H2K will play Splice.
Yep.
So actually, it doesn't really matter for them. It's only about this quarterfinal. Who gets an extra side selection? That's all they're playing for right now.
I say it again, though. I'm going to say it again, though. Wherever H2K ends up, H2K with Forgiven was scary.
Yeah.
Can we just admit that?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And also the patch that we're expecting to play on playoffs is going to be the one with the updated, 2v2s, etc. So that in theory is going to give them even a bigger boost. Why are you laughing?
So what we're telling me is, what G2 really should have done is had an Oscars performance in that one. Let Fnatic take a game, take it up against Giants. That means Giants then face H2K and they face the winner of that.
Yep.
G2, too late now. Chances gone. Could have had the Oscars.
Yeah. But if you're going to win this split, you might as well beat
them.
True.
Yeah, you may as well.
Indeed. So that was playoffs. They will begin Saturday, August 13th, and tickets are on sale now. Head over to lolesports.com for the details. This is the promotion bracket. I feel like they're doing this in another direction.
Yeah, getting a little bit trigger happy.
I just wanted to say that we are still talking here because the teams H2K and Fnatic needed a couple of minutes, or 30 minutes to be exact, to set up for their tiebreaker. We're halfway there, so bear with us as we talk about the promotion tournament. Obviously, Roccat first round. Millennium has, of course, the hardest task ahead of them for staying into the LCS, while Schalke and Origin have double elimination possibility.
Yeah, and of course, Rocket or Millennium, whoever loses there is knocked out. They're done so. I keep making the joke, they go home and they have to cry to their mothers. The winner then joins Schalke, Origin, and Misfits in a double elimination bracket. So whoever wins there, automatically back in LCS. And it was fun because we talked about this on Facebook Live. We had a little bit of a pre-show chat. And Stress had actually said 6 hours ago that he felt Origin were going to drop out as not being one of the teams that's going to progress.
Yeah.
I was watching them in their series against H2K, and their faces were destroyed. I've never seen player cams that broken before. And I can only wonder how much weight, how much baggage of going from Challenger to Worlds to potentially Challenger is going to bring these guys down.
And they got 4 days only to prepare, because we start again on Thursday with the Millennium game, and then on Friday they're going to play against Misfits.
Yeah.
So not only do they have to take on the hardest team, basically they have 4 days to prepare for it. And if they lose it, okay, they get a second chance, but that's still going to hurt your mentality if you lose a BO5 to a challenger
Stress
team.
has a tweet.
You want to? No, I don't have a tweet on it. It was on Facebook Live.
Oh,
earlier.
Excuse me.
But this is how it's going to go. Hans Sama, if this ends up in a 2v2, Hans Sama from Misfits will rip apart Origin in that 2v2. He has done it to everybody he's faced. We've heard, and I don't buy into scrim results, but we have heard that they have time and time again been giving it to some of Europe's best in scrims. Now, obviously, it's different on stage, but Peke has shown me almost nothing to show that he could, in a 2 versus 2, go up against Hans Sama. Possibly, but...
no, because I actually think Hans Sama's support is an absolute monster in
also
Ignar.
bad.
So it's a duo lane together who are really, really strong. Selfie mechanically is a very gifted mid laner. Will be able to, for sure, hold his own in the mid lane. It comes down to macro, decision, and shot calling. Challenger teams tend to be much weaker because it's much harder getting that practice in Challenger, where LCS teams have been doing it over and over.
You have to expand it even further. Misfits have destroyed everybody in their way. Their macro has never truly been tested because they've won so many of their games just on being better individual players. We do need to note, though, that they are playing without Wisdom.
Yes,
I believe
Llama
so.
Bear.
Llama Bear's coming back in. Was he the guy who was on the roster initially that then got swapped? So, you know, that's a question mark for me.
Just to give you some history, it was Maxlaw, then Wisdom got changed. Llama Bear came in one game for Huma, destroyed whoever they were playing against. I can't remember who it was. It was in the last week of the regular split. very inexperienced. He is the only question mark, and going up against Amazing, that may be the saving grace for Origin. Somehow,
Also
if they
because
can hang
Wisdom
on.
was so good in the finals.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually asked the analysts, why make the change, and just got like obviously the PR answer very simple was just like Llama Bear in scrims are doing really, really well, so we felt like it was gonna be a better thing for the team. So they clearly trusted him. Wisdom has been good.
I imagine he'll be in. I imagine he'll be on site. Like I
Of
can't
course,
say for
Wisdom
sure,
will
but
be there in case Llama Bear chokes under pressure or
Yes.
whatever. You swap Wisdom back in,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's one game gone.
Moving on in a second, just quickly then, what will be the result of the promotion tournament? Who are we keeping? Who's coming in?
I'll say the same I did on Facebook Live. This one's easy for me to say it now. Schalke will stay in, Roccat will stay in, Misfits will qualify.
So Origin's out.
Correct. In my opinion, that is what will happen.
I need more time. You say yours.
So Rocket wins obviously on a Thursday, then gets to play Schalke, loses that game, so Schalke is back in. Rocket then plays on the last day. I think they'll play against Origin.
Yep.
And then it really comes down to mentally, is Origin showing up? If not, then I agree with you. Then Origin is out. I said earlier that I think Rocket will drop out, and I can still stand by that, but it's going to be so close between these teams. And I actually trust more in Rocket as a team to play that BO5 now after watching more and more of Origin and them falling apart.
I also think the likelihood of a Schalke Roccat best of 5 being a one-sided smash is fairly low, whereas Misfits, every time they meet people, it's like 30-minute games.
But they only be meeting challenger people.
That is fair.
Gotta keep that in mind.
I concede that point completely. They have only been meeting challenger teams
but hang on
on
a second.
stage.
How much better than a challenger team is Origin right now?
Like, tend to be a
Today?
big
Yes,
difference.
I know
Think
there
of last
tends
split.
to be.
Think of last split.
I know there tends to
LCS
be.
teams had no issues
Yeah.
beating challenger teams last split. Even though we were like, oh, there are some weak teams
Yeah, but
in
there's
here.
a difference. There's a difference, right? Like Vitality, for example, they were their own defeat in quarterfinals, which is, they were their own like problem child in some ways. And I don't know. I think when you look at this matchup, if Misfits crush Origin, I do not believe they'll be able to bounce back the next day.
And that's the big one.
That's my thing. If Misfits crush them, I think the baggage that is on their minds right now means more than anything else.
Yeah, we are some minutes out still from the tiebreaker. So another thing I want to talk about is the player of the game leaderboard, because all the points that we tallied up here in the regular season for the summer are in. So let's take a look. I think that Trick is still holding that first place position. Obviously, Nat. Oh, Janko's just 1 point behind him, and Nat 2 points behind him. And Quickshot, do you want to explain how this influences our summer split MVP?
Yes, of course. So we've actually made some changes to the MVP system in the summer split. So it's multi-tiered now. All of the player of the game points will be used and attributed to the MVP ballot. All right, so whoever's got more points is going to get themselves some additional points when it comes to deciding. We're also going to be having all of the shoutcasters vote for all of the awards. So that's your all LCS team, your MVP, your rookie of the split. We're reaching out to media and third parties as well. So we'll get some press voting in there, the guys who are interviewing the players, the guys who are covering the leagues. And finally, the teams will be asked to submit a vote, one for their coach and one for all of the players. All right, so it's going to be a lot more holistic. We'll also be revealing all of the votes from everybody, including any votes if somebody said they're going to opt out. If a team doesn't want to, or
Name and shame
a
them.
coach doesn't want. No, this is for understanding. Oh, I can't remember the word. Transparency. Thank you. You said it.
Yeah.
You're trying to save me.
I was trying to, and then I thought, do I want to say that word? And I was
It was
like,
a good word.
Yes, I do.
It's transparency. So I was like, there's multi-tiers. Pogs is going to work towards it. Whoever your Pog champ is, going to help out for MVP.
Yep.
And then obviously press, players, and shoutcasters.
Very interesting list. Trick, as you said, well up the top. I want to focus actually at the end of what we showed for the list, because a lot of supports have been like, do I only get it if I play Bard? Mythy's there. He hasn't played 6 games of Bard, showing you can get on that Pog leaderboard with just solid performances.
Who are like our thoughts here? Obviously, Trick, no brainer. Mickey is a name that I've heard a lot. Obviously, there's also the rookie of the split.
I think it's a little bit too... I think make it for rookie of the split. Yes, it's between him or Knight for me, honestly.
I think Mickey's been like you have to look at the whole team performance as well.
Sure.
And I think he gets the edge as far as that.
But I think Knight has carried a lot of games for Giants as well, and you could argue that the Giants' full roster is not as strong as the Splice one this split. So then you can always make the argument. I think we're gonna see people vote for both as like, you might go Knight, I might go Mickey, and then we keep rotating like that.
So we're willing to accept either of those names.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you guys can vote whatever you want. MVP though, Stress.
MVP, you mean completely for the entirety? I mean, Trick is the front runner. Ideally, we got to go through playoffs as well before we actually see that. I believe not finals. Finals isn't included.
Oh, we vote after it's regular season. You vote.
Yep, regular
Is it
season.
just regular.
Yeah,
Okay.
regular season.
Not
Shows
that
how
fierce
prepared I am,
as
but-
Red Ezebel's just
Yeah.
yet, but votes have to be submitted by the end of the week.
Oh,
so they
okay.
have until Friday. This includes.
Hurry
It is
up.
the end of the
Yeah.
week.
I'm hurrying. I'm getting on it.
Fill it now.
Hey, the week
So-
starts on Sunday in
Right.
some places.
Okay.
In that case, then it for me it looks to be Trick. But I wish we had like a most improved player award, and I don't mean this in any disrespect, but I feel like Wonder has gone from strength
Yes.
to strength, and he is
I agree.
actually one of the top 3 top laners in Europe
Yeah,
right
we
now.
went from discount Cabo Shard with Smitty J, discount Smitty J with Cabo Shard. So what is Wonder? It was your word.
Wonder is just Wonder. Like Wonder is just really good right
just
now.
Wonder.
There's no, we don't need to put anything
just
else
so
on it.
good right
he's
now.
he's really improved. The entire Splice team, we talk about it so often. I think it's fantastic to see, and I think he will be on one of the all-pro LCS teams.
Yeah.
I also just want to jump in really quickly. Despite the fact H2K and Fnatic are playing another game, even if somebody stands out, it doesn't count towards PogChamp. It's
Yeah.
not a regular scheduled game. Tiebreakers and like additional content doesn't get bundled into the stats and fantasy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So just as a clarifier.
We are about 5 minutes out from that tiebreaker,
Yes.
guys. As a team needed some time to regroup, think of all those strategies for the tiebreak. I was going to say, we can't wait for you guys to screenshot and then share and clip the predictions that don't turn out to be the MVP and who you voted for
Love
to
it.
shame you and stuff like that.
No, it's no
There's gonna
shaming.
be there's gonna be a
absolutely no
giant.
shaming.
I've seen the plan. There's gonna be a giant spreadsheet of like
Yeah.
everybody's names, and it's gonna say exactly who they are.
Basically, you can go in and see, did H2K vote for all the H2K players as like number one and everything?
Yeah.
And
Or
be like,
did they
oh,
forget
that's...
to vote?
Or did they forget to vote?
Yep.
Whatever it is, people can see
it's not
exactly
forget
who
to
voted
vote.
for what.
The terminology we're using is the team opted out.
Opted out.
Opted out.
I'm sure this will happen in our office as well, by the way. But I can imagine.
No,
people
no,
be
no.
like,
Trust
did
me,
you
everyone
vote?
will vote. Everyone will vote. This is actually
Yes.
super important.
is,
It's
it
something,
is.
fans, we care a lot about. I think players care a lot about it as well. And now that so many people are
Yeah.
voting, we should get a pretty spot-on result.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the very least, we'll get a completely shared average of who should be the best according to most people involved in the scene. From press to broadcast to actual players competing.
Yeah. However, the public cannot vote, but we did ask for their opinion on Twitter to tell us who was their personal MVP of the summer split and why. Let's take a look at some of those tweets first. At Alex Sheltman told us Trashy is their MVP, bringing Splice from relegation to a playoff bye as the glue for their team is ridiculous. I would say almost that Splice is the glue. Like they all stick together regardless of one person stepping up in a certain game, but Trashy is tremendously improved.
I think you cannot undervalue the impact he has had in the early stages of almost every game. This is a guy who has been consistently amazing, but I also think you cannot undervalue that he's been able to shine because everybody else has as well. Trashy can only make those hero plays when the rest of the team collapses and kill whoever Trashy is like that guy. So that's a great advantage.
Yeah, it is a great advantage, but then the other thing is Trashy's path thing is a lot better than, quite frankly, a lot of the junglers here. You can see him track enemy junglers very well. He did it to Spirit to perfection in their series against Fnatic. Really well placed throughout, looking for counter ganks the entire time, and it allows his lanes to succeed very easily.
Definitely agree with that. I know Trashy a couple of weeks ago was like, hey, I didn't get that many votes for player of the game. So this is our shout out to you, Trashy. Really good. All right.
Hey, he started
cool.
playing better. So
Yeah. Another tweet. What? He started playing better? Since when? I mean,
since
you
fun enough when he
implying-
cried about it, because then all the people were standing out, he suddenly played much better, and therefore he got a lot of play of the game.
I think they were in the crowd, so you can explain that
That's
later.
fine. I'm
Okay.
perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, another tweet at ZoldyZ tweeted that the MVP of the split should be Zviti.
Yeah, if we can vote for two,
No, but
I love it.
It's worth the discussion, obviously, because obviously the bottom lane is doing a lot of work for that
Yep,
team.
fantastic bot lane. Say it
You're
over and over.
cheating.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Say it over.
You're
But
cheating.
it sounds great.
So-
Zviti.
I guess if I had to pick between Sven or Mithy for possible MVP,
Mithy.
I'm probably gonna go Mithy, also just for the impact he has in
Sven's
terms
so
of
pissed off right now.
like shot calling together with Trick. But I think Sven is just like, to me, Sven is one of the absolute best AD carries in the world. So you can almost always just go like, yeah, Sven should probably get it because he carried like probably 500 games, even though you don't remember.
Isn't
all
it
of them
unfair that
exactly.
he never gets to get it?
Yeah, because
It was
you can
very
be
close.
Yeah, because look, you can be the best AD carry in the world, but you still need a front line. You still
of the
need
best.
initiators. You still need all of those additional things to be able to be that person, right? So like that's why I feel I also lean towards Mithy because he's the one that has to make the first move, has to set up the play that then Sven knocks home for the points.
I want to see if they got another gear, though, for playoffs. Because not that they have been anywhere near anything other than good, but I want to see Sven be exceptional again. That's what I want to see. I want to see him completely on form, outplaying people. Yep. That's what I want to see.
Hey, we'll see it at Worlds. Ocelot has a tweet about winning Worlds. And I mean, without...
He's got lots of
This year or next year?
This year, I think. Oh, no, this year or next year. Yeah, that's what he said. But I respect that. Just come out. I mean, we are unbiased, but we wouldn't be unhappy if a European team won Worlds, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
especially
we
after the rough split that we've had in terms of social presence.
Can we get like 2 first-place seeds for next year if we win Worlds?
Yeah, we can probably get 1 if we actually send a team to MSI. That would be great.
I just need to see where they boot camp, right? Like, that's the thing. There is no room for error because G2 is going to have more eyes on them at Worlds than any other squad.
I'm going to have like the sickest boot camp with physical training and everything.
I mean, just take 2 weeks.
We just need them, when the split is over, go straight to Korea, boot camp for like a month, and go to NA and kick some ass.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay. We'll see. The tiebreaker's ready, though. So just when you thought you were out, we pull you back in. After the break, we'll have the tiebreaker game between Fnatic and H2K to decide 4th place.
Fight!